9,000 RPM. What is up, guys? My name is Brent Ruiz and welcome back to the channel and welcome to the 991.1 GT3. This is the first time I've ever driven any GT3. I can't believe I've been missing out on this pure driving experience. After driving so many sports cars, I have finally received the keys to Porsche GT3, and I could not be happier. First of all, big thanks to my friend Aaron and his wife Rose for giving me the keys to this car. And in this video, oh my god, in this video, I'm going to not review it. There's so many reviews out there on YouTube of GT3s. It's not a new car. We all know how amazing GT3s are. So in this video, I'm just going to drive it, talk about how amazing it is, talk about how awesome it is to drive, and just overall the passion and emotion that driving any Porsche GT3 offers you. And the timing for this is actually pretty good because in a few short days from now, Porsche is actually going to reveal finally the 992 version of the GT3, which we are all excited to see. And I guess this video is just gonna kind of be a celebration of the 991 generation GT3, this being the 991.1. I'm gonna talk about how great of a value these cars are, especially with the 992 version coming out. The fact that you can get a car that performs as amazingly as this car is performing right now for like $110,000, $120,000, $125,000, depending on the mileage, is one of the best sports car bargains out there on the market, even in today's very inflated car market. For $125,000, you can get one with not that many miles on it, maybe 10,000 miles, 12,000 miles. And if you really want to save some money, just get one with like 30,000 miles on it. You're gonna pay like 105,000 bucks for it, which is absolutely amazing with the car that you're getting. So we all know how amazing this car is to drive, and this being my first time driving it ever, I gotta say that I completely agree. And that whole experience is just backed up, supported by that amazing exhaust note. This is a fully stock car, and even then, it sounds glorious. That 9,000 RPM redline, that is something you never really see on cars these days, especially today with everything being turbocharged or a hybrid now. You're never gonna see that ever again, pretty much. So we really do have to enjoy it while we still have it, and it's just a huge argument for these naturally aspirated engines. And the 3.8 liter flat six engine in this car is definitely something that we are going to remember for a long time. But one of the best things about any Porsche, especially the GT cars, is how they launch. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that for you right now. So the thing is about Porsches, it's really, really easy to do a launch. Just foot on the brake, mash the throttle, and hang on for the ride. Okay, that is not too shabby whatsoever. So 475 horsepower in this car, 324 pound-feet of torque. In today's day and age, that is not a lot of power anymore. But honestly, guys, like I've kept saying this in previous videos as well, that range of power, like 500-ish, is so perfect for the road. Anything more than that, and it's really hard to extract more power on public roads. Having fun safely, that's what I'm talking about. And 500-ish horsepower is definitely something that you can play around with and have fun with. Even for a track setting, the owners of this car literally 1 week ago took it to the track. They drove it there, they tracked it, they drove it back home. That is the party trick of any Porsche GT car, and that's what makes me really fall in love with the brand and the car itself. And even for the track, it was performing very, very well in terms of track time. And you really do have to say that Porsche GT cars, They are track weapons. They are built for the track, but you can drive them on public roads whenever you want to. You can daily drive them if you like. Now, one thing I will say about the ride comfort in this car is that it is not good, guys. But who cares? That's what it's built for. It's built for tracking. It's built for driving hard. It's built for canyon carving, and a stiffer suspension makes all of that a lot better. Now, the other thing I really love about this car, and pretty much any Porsche, are the lightning fast shifts. The Pdk transmission, absolutely at the top of the game in terms of responsiveness, in terms of how fast the car actually pulls off those shifts. It's insane, it's robotic. And comparing it to something like a Ferrari gearbox, for example, where the Ferrari gearbox is not as, it's less predictable, I guess, it's more random. The Pdk in Porsches, you know that it's going to shift as fast as possible every single time with no let up, no difference in shift time, and it is a thing to behold. And that's just Porsche saying, you know, we want to extract the maximum amount of performance. We want the fastest times around the track, and the Pdk gearboxes definitely do let you do that. Now, a lot of people want manual gearboxes in their Porsche GT cars, and obviously Porsche did oblige by allowing it as an option in the 991.2 generation of this car, and also allowing it as an option in the 992 generation, which is coming up. So it's really great to see the company listening to the customers. For those that really want that manual gearbox, it is an option in the GT3. At the end of the day, it really comes down to two main things that really have made me fall in love with the GT3. Number one, the way that it handles, and number two, the way that it sounds. I'm just gonna put the window down a little bit here for you guys. Hopefully the audio is still fine, but we do have to appreciate the glorious exhaust note that this car produces. Can you imagine like a straight pipes GT3? And you don't even have to go fast. Let me just ring it out a little bit. I'm doing 45, 50 miles an hour right now, and just revving it out, that in itself is a ton of fun. 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 RPM redline. And the funny thing about this is that I've been keeping the speed limit this whole time. That's pretty awesome that you can have fun with the car and not even be speeding. That's why cars like this, the ones with naturally aspirated engines, I'm just gonna say it, the ones that sound absolutely amazing like this, it just adds a whole other dynamic to the driving experience, and it just makes driving these cars so much more fun. Turbocharged cars, hybrid cars, okay, they're gonna be a lot faster in a straight line at least, but they are losing so much in terms of the driving passion that these cars were built to offer customers. And I know I keep saying it in a lot of these videos, but it's just sad that we're losing that, guys. It is sad. So we really have to enjoy these cars while we still have them, while they're still being produced, because it is not gonna last that much longer. Handling wise, as you guys just saw in those canyons back there, it's sublime. Like the rear wheel steering that this car has, that's actually one of the first generations of rear steering that any of these Porsche cars had. It helps a lot, and you can really tell when it does help, especially in those slow hairpins, those slower corners. When you're going 50 miles an hour or lower, the rear wheels actually turn opposite to the fronts. And anytime you're over 50 miles an hour, they will actually turn in the same direction as the fronts, helping you with more stability, especially helpful when you're taking those long sweepers. So active rear steering really helps a lot in this car, and you can definitely tell with the handling aspect of it. The weight of this car at 3,260 pounds, curb weight, does help a lot as well with the handling. and the agility of it. You can really feel how darty it is, how easy it is to place, especially when you're coming into a corner and coming out of it as well. The traction control does kick into play pretty easily actually, so this is another one of those cars where you really have to turn the traction off. On the track, I would recommend to really explore how great the handling aspect of this car is without being restricted too much by that traction. But even on public roads, traction on, you can have a safe, very safe time having some fun with it. And it did kick into play for me a bit when I was doing the POV drive for this car. Previous video on my channel, check it out, link in the description below if you want to see a POV canyon drive with this car. In terms of interior, it is classic Porsche in here, but I do love how much Alcantara there is in this particular car, and the spec, the red stitching over black, I love it. That's how I would spec my GT3 if I were to get one. And I love the seats, but these are not the optional carbon fiber 918 bucket seats, which would really add another level of drama, I guess, in this car, especially if you're doing a lot of track duty with it. That extra bolstering in those bucket seats will help a lot, and obviously being carbon fiber and from a 918, they do look freaking awesome. So technology wise, as we have hit some traffic on the freeway, the 5 gauges being mostly analog still, I absolutely love it with some digital readouts mixed in. A great combination, but the thing that is definitely starting to get outdated in this generation of GT3 is the center console controls, especially the LCD screen and your climate control and your phone buttons and stuff in here. Definitely outdated, but the 992 generation is definitely going to be fixing that. So that brings me into the next topic, the value proposition of this car, which I already mentioned is insane. One of the best deals that you can get in terms of a sports car that has a performance factor out of this freaking world. At a base price when it came out of $132,000, then you add like 20K, 30K in options, you're about 150K, 160K. Same thing with the 991.2. The base price on the .2 was actually $145,000, so it did creep up. So we can kind of expect to see the 992 base price at around 150 plus base before any options. So, seeing as how you can get this exact car right now for about $120,000 in an inflated car market, most likely when the car market starts to level off, this would be worth more, about $110,000. And if you get one with higher mileage, 30,000 miles, even 40,000 miles, you're talking $100,000 for a GT3. That's insane. All right, guys, as my time winds down with the GT3, got to give another big thanks to my friends Aaron and Rose for trusting me with the keys to their glorious GT3. About to drop it back off to them. Got to give them another little acceleration. This is one of those cars where you just do a video on them and all you can do is just smile nonstop. There really is not much wrong with this car, guys. The only little nitpick that I might have is not even a nitpick really, it's just something that you just have to get used to. So if you've never driven a Porsche with a PDK, you will not know that it has a single mass flywheel. So whenever you're coming to a stop or just slowly pulling away, like I am right now, you'll hear this like clunky noise coming from the back there. And well, it kind of reminds you of like an E-gear from the old school Lamborghini Gallardo. It's just a Porsche thing, but it's just something that you have to get used to. And it is a little bit disconcerting at first if you've never experienced that sound before in a Porsche, but you quickly get used to it and you quickly find out that nothing's wrong and it is completely normal. Before I end the video, I really need to give you guys some more of this sound because that is definitely one of the best parts about this car. Lastly, I do have to say that if I had a budget of $115,000, $120,000 and I wanted to get the best possible sports car, supercar experience that I could, bang for the buck wise, the 991.1 GT3 has to be at the top of that ranking. I would straight pipe it right away. That's the only thing I would probably change. But that's all this car needs, honestly. Just a little bit more volume on that exhaust, but the the stock exhaust by itself sounds absolutely freaking amazing. So that's gonna be it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed watching, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and I will see you all in the next one. Deuces!